fucking cloud is. Hello. We are recording. We are on. This is Dailey Wellness Speaks, Talks. I've been trying to come up with a name. My name is Janet. And
like this is like your podcast.
Yeah, it's like a podcast. So I went through many things, like it went everything from drops in to tea time. And I was like, no, I haven't found it yet. That was too, like, you know, I need white gloves on. But anyway, I'm here with my friend Melissa Guiterrez. Please tell me your name. I know I butchered it.
Oh, I never replied to that voicemail. You were like, your last name is so beautiful.
It is. And the way you say it on your voicemail, I'm like,
oh, my friends make fun of me.
You
can
say your last name for me.
My name is Melissa Guiterrez. And
you have to
like, if for anybody who watches who remembers Walter Mercado, may he rest in peace. Do you know who Walter Mercado is?
No.
He is he's dead now. Good for him. The most well-recognized astrology celebrity ever in Spanish television, and he was like Liberace. And I'll show you clips. But he would be like Cancer. Like that's how he would like. So it's Melissa Gutierrez, you know. Which, by the way, it sounds fancy, but it's like the most common name.
But it sounds like beautiful the way you say it, and I just like whenever I get a chance to I like to. Anyway, so Melissa, for everybody that is going to tune in, is I would say many things, but she is a goddess of all things good, coaching, training. She's a yoga teacher. She's the strength trainer. She's helped me. She's kicked my butt. And we have known each other since the beginning of time. We were in a yoga anatomy class, right, with Leslie Kaminoff, and she was probably asking like amazing questions. And I had just finished my yoga teacher training and was like a deer in the headlights. I don't know what's going on. But I was like, wow, you know, they're asking such intelligent questions and I'm not even sure what's happening yet, you know. But we met there and we kept kind of jumping in, bumping into each other, right, a little bit. And then we kind of merged somewhat recently, like a couple years ago, right?
A couple of years ago, and I had always been attracted to, it's so funny when you tell the story of how you perceive like us first meeting, because that's never how anyone ever thinks of themselves, or I should start thinking of myself, so thank you for compliments. But what really drew me to you was, like, sometimes I'm put off at first by like people who carry a very bright light inside of them, because I'm like I just have like a cynical darkness, and I'm like, oh, what is that?
What is up with that? Yes.
But your light kept drawing me to you like a moth.
Like a moth to the flame, but I was going to burn you up.
Like a moth to the flame. I couldn't stay away. And you kind of had that, like, that aura of being a yoga teacher and a body worker that I've always longed to have, which is like kind of like mystical and esoteric, and like when you wear like some Satya jewelry, I'm like, oh, I get it on her, you know what I mean? Like, it's beautiful. And then I remember we did like we met up at BFit recently, and that was a couple of years ago, and then we started doing exchanges for like reflexology that you give me. And I'm gonna try not to fall asleep during this recording, because now my body recognizes your voice and your face as like the ultimate sanctuary in a world gone mad. And every time I'm near you, I'm just like, oh, like I'm just safe enough to just fall asleep.
Oh, thank you. Well, I see you and I'm like, oh, I didn't do any sit-ups today. No. No, I mean that in a very good way, because literally I just to kind of on the other spectrum is like, you have, you in a very like really, I would say precious way, but in a really like concrete way, I think are able to like guide people without like hitting them over the head. But like you hold the space for us to like really shine and do what we want to do. Like, I feel like you're not trying to like, to train someone to do something for it's not like you don't care, like whatever you want, right? Like if you want to be you know, like if you don't want to be healthy, like don't call on me. But I feel like people come to you because you really know. There's so many different aspects that you draw in that I always feel like you're looking at things from many different like angles and lenses, and you're curious. And the humor, if the humor is not there, I cannot be with you. So number one, and I really appreciate that about you. And also the fact that you really do care, and that you have ways of motivating us that I think are very unique.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful that you're in my life. So I think it's like a mutual, you know, just respect. And I wanted to share basically you and let people know about you, because you've been, you know, I know you're online, but I want, you know, my friends and my clients and students to know about you, because you know, they need to like, they need to know about all that you offer. So
Well, thank
I know
you.
I know that we kind of like discussed like talking about navigating these times, right? We'll just call it coronavirus, you know, times.
No, really? What's happening?
What is that? And
Wait,
I
did you
think,
hear that story that Jared Leto just came out of like a 12-day, I think it
yes.
was a Vipassana retreat, and he came out of isolation and was like, he must have emerged into this like dystopian landscape where he was
There's
like,
so many ways we could go with that story. I just think,
like what the,
right?
I just think of that. And you know what? This is my experience of it, is that, because I was just texting a friend and she was like, I'm so tired. And a friend of mine yesterday was like, how am I home more than I've ever been? And yet I got like 2 things done today. One of
Right.
them being like a shower, and I'm done. Like I'm tapped out. And this is like a shared phenomenon that we're all having in this real time. And what it is, at least in my experience, is that we are processing at such a rapid rate and adjusting to a new sense of normal, which is, first of all, a huge shift based on something terrifying. And we're trying to like salvage the vestiges of what is normal and consistent in our lives, plus work and whatever that means. And that is happening like rapidly, like boom, 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 boom on a daily basis. So yeah, like I'm cool with the fact that I'm a little tired.
Yes. And also, I mean, that's, you bring up such a good point, because I think people might be trying to operate on their normal schedule, you know, energy levels, right? And you and I have talked about it. Like, we're like, yeah, I didn't do a lot today and I feel like I need to take a nap. And like you said, like I've done 2 things. And I think it's really good for everybody to know that we're all feeling that, and to take care of yourself. And that also doesn't mean that you sleep for the next month, that you, there are things that I think are really important that we'll talk about maybe, that can be really small little steps that help you every day, you know, to feel like grounded, to like take you back into your body. I know that you have a lot of practices. I'd love to hear, you know, how you're helping your clients. And I feel like, but it's just good for us to give ourselves a break and be compassionate right now, because I think there's a sense of I should be doing something. And then you're kind of like, and I noticed, you know, that, and I'm also thinking about all of us that are home with some family, you know, family members,
Yep.
with children, and there's a whole other schedule going on. So it's like, you know, I love my friends who have kids, and they're like, listen, like we don't need any advice. And I think you just need to like send some compassion and know that it's a different paradigm. Like it's a whole different scenario. And so what would you say are some of the things that are helping you personally, and how you're, you know, helping your clients?
Well, I'm gonna, blah, 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 so much information so fast. Well, the first thing I want to point to, and I know people have already heard us stroke each other's egos and essentially jerk one another off continuously for like the first 10 minutes of our cast, which I love, but it's true in that when you have valuable people around you, like we trust one another in our lanes, right? In our expertise. And that's so key for me, to have other people. I don't think I've ever spoken to more people on a daily basis on the phone before. And that doesn't mean that's what people need to do. But if you need support, don't be afraid to reach out. Like there are a lot of people feeling this, and being able to train virtually, like the way you're teaching classes and I'm teaching classes to people virtually, is part of that support system. Because it's really easy to get caught up in the isolation of, especially in New York City, like the 4 walls of our beautiful yet tiny apartments. and my apartment's palatial compared to others, as is yours, like, and it's still hard. But one of the other primary things I really think of you all the time reminding me is the importance of the breath work, because this virus is so awful in what it does to your lungs.
Right.
And I'm not going to go into like the science I've been watching and reading about, because it's not necessarily for everyone right now, and that's not necessarily helpful. But I remember when you were talking to me about, like, I'm going to get everybody to drop into their breath through pranayama practices and like to exercise that. And I was like, oh my God, like that's the most genius thing I've heard right now. And so like I start off inspired by that and talk about you even in my meditation, where I'm like, yeah, you better be moving through your lung space, because we're seated more now. So the obvious stuff is like, I feel stiff, or like my hips are hurting, my low back hurts, my neck and shoulder, all that shit. But it's really like also you're not walking up the subway stairs the way you used to. That would exercise lung capacity. You're not just walking period on the street, or maybe your gyms are closed. Like there's a whole host of reasons we no longer have to expand in our lung set. So I've been actually doing that a lot with people. We start out with really exaggerated cat cowing and anything to just like, and I get them to make funny noises like, you know, like I'm like, come on, use it, like get there, because we're not going to do anything for like most likely the rest of the day that incorporates that. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. And I love that you're making the sounds, because I think we need to express ourselves right now. Whatever that is, right? Like today I had to have like, I was like, all of a sudden I needed to hear some music, and I had to put on some rock, you know, I was like, I need to hear some like, what you would laugh at, like hardcore. You're the hardcore lady.
Adorable.
But you know what I mean? Like, I was like, you need to, our energy is going to get more, it's going to be a little more pent up because of even the tension. And so we have to express it. To me, it's like dance. I don't care what you do. Go running, make sounds, sing, whatever that is. Like, even like you said, make sounds as you move. So I love that you're having them tune into that, because we need it. It's like, it's like an expression. It's going to have to move some way, and we don't want it stuck. We don't want to feel like our lungs are, you know, that they're, we're not fully breathing, you know, into the full capacity. And I think when I do that, I feel so much better.
Yes. And I also go back to what I know and what you know about moving. You can say moving stress and tension out of the body. You can use scientific language of how movement helps to facilitate the, you know, the recycling and removal of unnecessary catecholamines like epinephrine, and those are basically adrenalized chemical constituents your body uses when you have a fear response. And you and I know the importance of like when that, to learn how to like bring an end to that response so that my body can take a break. But the break doesn't just end with like, okay, I feel better. Like you got to do something to like get it out, physically remove it out of you. And it's both the challenge and the blessing is that people are really listening to that. And they're like, well, I'm in my house. That's not a reason to stop moving. And I'm like, that's right. Let's move. Use your chairs, we're going to work out with books. We're going to squat with cans, sofa. Like, I don't care what you got. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like you said, I love the idea of you dancing around. I just see you like with your bright light dancing around your house and your golden hair and being like sunshiny. And
I had a Stevie Nicks moment today.
Yes.
But no, it's like, and like you said, you don't need any props. You can use anything you have there, right? I know you are crafty. Like, we don't need to have any props. Like, that's the beauty of it, right? That couch, I can see you already having me do squats on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's none of that. And it's just a matter of, and then I wanted to ask you, just for yoga teachers and wellness practitioners and people who are holding the space for everyone right now, you know, as they come and say, oh, you know, I'm feeling really nervous and tense. And what have you found for yourself that's really important, like every single day that you're needing to do? Or maybe like, what's a little ritual that you want to share?
Definitely. I think that it's really easy to get caught up when you have jobs like we have. it's kind of a saving grace that you can compartmentalize it. First of all, that's taking for granted that you're the kind of person who can compartmentalize, because you and I have seen when you can't, and then we're like, oh, that's like, it gets messy.
Yeah.
And, you know, luckily we are able to compartmentalize. But what I realized really quickly with the extra time and space on my hand was that I don't have that distraction to like get out of my shit that often helps me to work through my shit, but it gives me the break of like, now I'm here for others. And it's like, how do I hold space, but then deal with feeling like bombarded from the inside with like it's like Corona is augmenting everything I'm carrying inside of me in the most frightening way. What has helped me in switching over to this new regimen is and this sounds so trite, but it is not easy. No judgment on anything I'm feeling.
I love that. And that's such a reminder.
And my therapist, who's amazing, we should have her on here soon. I'm like, the reason that that's been so helpful, and I've been going, as you know, through a lot of personal stress right now, going through a big kind of like shift in my life. And if I add a layer of judgment on whatever it is I'm processing, it prolongs the pain. It's a waste of time and energy, precious energy I need right now. And it could possibly weaken my immune system, which is like a huge fucking no-no, right? Right. So I am trying to be like, okay, I didn't get up at 7 like I wanted. I got up at 8. Fine, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay. Like, if I have to cry, I cry, but but I'm also sensing a difference between like a cathartic cry and like the cry into catatonia, where you're just like,
yes.
You know what I mean? Where you're like in the vomit, I can't talk, cry, you know, like that's unnecessary. So it's about really, for me, the no judgment allows me to shift through every moment in that idealized sense of flow. But if you start to if you attribute a meaning or an idea of a story in your head of like how things are supposed to go or how things are supposed to look, or what Sally's doing next door, you're already fucking yourself over, basically.
And I will tell you that, I can tell you that already, we kind of touched on this, like we're all coming up with online things, right? And so I see some people in these gorgeous studios and they have everything just, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm like, well, and you know, like if I was going to judge myself, I'd be like, you know, but it was like, well, that's not going to be what I'm presenting, you know. And I think it's really important right now. This is what the reason I think I love you so dearly, and I feel so strongly that you always are connected to is your authentic truth, right? And I really feel that as teachers, as people, everything we're doing right now, the more authentic we can be, the more we're helping ourselves and then helping others. Like, we can't try putting on all that extra, like you said, the judges, the hat, it's actually like, we can't handle that right now. Like, even if you did that in your previous pre-corona, you know, life, literally, like right now, you cannot do that. We don't have the extra energy. And I think it's actually wasted energy. And I love that you said that about judgment, because that, to me, I found that if I really look at anytime I'm doing that, it's basically out of fear. It's like, you know, you can get down to the root of it, like, oh, you know, you want everybody to love you or whatever it is, but it doesn't serve you, right? And so it's just nice to remind everybody, like, take that off or notice it, and just notice it, right? Be like, okay, there the judge number 1 came in, judge number 2. Right. And I can take them, I can say, you know what, you can come back later, maybe never, you know.
I'm just excited for like the hashtag self-judgment pre-corona luxury, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And so I feel like it's really important for people out there that are feeling like, I should be doing this, the parents that are feeling like, hearing like, oh, my child learned, you know, how to, you know, speak Japanese this last week, you know, or whatever the judgments are, whatever it is, you know. I just feel like right now it's compassion, right? It's all about compassion. I
think, and this is going to be a hard one for people to want to do, but this is what I truly think. The judgment is also a procrastination and a way to not allow in the fear of what you can't control. Because what we're all dealing with is that we don't know how long really this is going to last. We don't know how it's really going to look. And all you can do is prep appropriately. So like for people who hear us as body people or yoga teachers and are like, oh, there they go with the no self-judgment. I didn't say don't stock up appropriately on food. I didn't say be an idiot and cough on someone and then wipe it all over your face. Like, you know, like I didn't say that. I just said find what you can do, and then you have to really sit with what is frightening you. And when you just go, okay, I'm scared because I don't really know how this is going to go beyond tomorrow or Saturday.
Right.
And that sucks. That's hard. But when you let yourself know that that's what you're really dealing with, and you go, okay, and I accept that, and I can't do anything about that, it frees you up. And then you have the energy for whatever it is you actually need to do. So if you don't judge yourself like on how perfectly you should be handling your new day-to-day schedule, and you start to learn to just recognize, give yourself a second to recalibrate, then you're going to have an easier time negotiating your way through this horrifically terrifying new landscape. But also, new means full of potential. And if you're creative, and in order to get creative solutions, you can't have judgment. That's another thing my therapist brought to me. But a lot of people who are artists like you can't be like in the creative process and allow it to flow. If you're like, oh, it fucking sucks, that's never gonna work. Oh, blah, blah. Like right now, when one of the biggest issues we're all having is like, oh, virtual training is weird and icky, or I shouldn't be able to make money right now. And none of that's true. As practitioners and as people who are supporting our community, if I'm not eating, I can't help somebody else.
Right. Right.
That's period. And so also, no one cares what my apartment looks like.
Well, we're all going to get to know each other's apartments. I have noticed that.
Really well. Really, I don't care what someone's apartment looks
I think
like.
we should do like, you know how they do like the shows where they like show you these great, fabulous apartments, but we're going to have to like all just do tours and be like, and here is, you know, Melissa's apartment. Notice what she's done in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's literally that.
People are fascinated, you know, by like New York City, like how we live that don't live in cities, like, or small apartments. So I think we have another show there. I think we have another little podcast.
We definitely do. And I just want to bring it back to, because we've covered a lot already, and I just want to bring it back to what I said earlier. My body recognizes you and your energy and everything because I resonate with what you do for me. I don't care if we're in this setup or anywhere else. If you were talking me through a meditation, a yoga class, touching my own feet, I'm going to find what I need there because I need guidance. We all need to take a break and look to someone we trust for guidance. And that's really what this opportunity is about. Physical distancing, but socially getting closer.
It's very
that's
kind of. What is your what are you doing right now online, and what is the website? Like, just tell me where can people find you, and what are you doing something daily, or what are you doing?
Yeah,
I classes and things.
Well, I'm definitely virtually training people in their homes on the daily right now.
They can contact you for virtual training. Okay, great.
Training and body movement and yoga and coaching, you know, wellness coaching. And if you want to contact me, really the best place is on Instagram.
Okay.
And my handle is @SheKnowsTheBody. And the reason I'm directing people there is because my Instagram is also full of tons of stuff that friends of mine are doing for free. Mm-hmm. Like every day I have stories up of like, this person is doing a 7 p.m. free Pilates class. This person is doing breath work. You know, Janet is doing breath work. My friend Kim is doing jujitsu. My friend Abby's doing it. Like, I'm just like, I'm giving people as many opportunities to move and feel healthy and feel like there's this world that they can tap into of health and wellness, that it's not just the fear inside, that they can actually look to something outside of them and go, I can do that. And it's just like, this is where like the great thing about social media is really coming through. It's instant. You can get it right now. You need to move. You don't know how to move? No problem. We're going to tell you, like 5 people telling you what to do.
Right. And we can support each other. And I think it's that time where we literally can support each other. And I love that. I'm doing the same. And I think that the more we do that, you know, people, it just becomes like like it's just going to continue to spread out, and people are going to be able to choose what they feel like on that daily basis, and maybe meet somebody new. But I really hope that anybody that is listening, that they take a class from you, they virtually or eventually in person contact you.
Yes, we'll get back to that again.
We'll get to that. And I think that there's just so much that you offer, and I'm really happy that I got to talk to you in our homes, from our homes. And, you know, I just, I hope that we can do more of these. Maybe this is just the first one of a little series. And I just really thank you for, you know, for all the things that you've done for me, because you've given me confidence in working with weights, which is really big. And I think that's something you do too for a lot of people, is a lot of people come like, oh, I don't know about weights, or I'm sure there's still people that say, I don't want to get too big, or
Oh yeah. No, that's why I really love working with women and older women, older meaning like 50 plus in particular, because when they discover what they can actually do, they're like, you know, like that's amazing to me. And I know you can't see it because that's not on camera, but I just want you to know that as we're talking, I'm rubbing my own feet the way you have always told me to. And I am dying for the Janet Dailey reflexology virtual workshop. Like, I'm all in.
You know it's happening, right?
It
is going to happen. But let's just like, you know, check back in soon. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you. Love you. Soon. We will talk.